right? I'm Kenny Perkins, aka Your Cancer Guy. I know some of you may have already heard about me, but those that do not, I host a podcast called All Talk Oncology. And so, for those that don't know me, welcome. Thank you so much for showing up today. Now, before we get started, I'd like to tell you, you guys, let's learn to know where you guys are from, learn a little bit about you. So, in the chat box, just let me know where you guys are from. Just type away this. You guys from California? What city are you from? New York. New York is in the building. Yes. Very nice, Francis. Appreciate it. Las Vegas, Texas, London. Oh my goodness. Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Rancho, Minneapolis, Philippines. Whoa, my goodness. It's listen, we're all over. Louisiana, Long Beach. Okay. Born and raised in New York, living in Whittier. Love it. Tampa. Okay. Welcome. Welcome. And I love that. I love that. I love to see where people are from. I love to see where we're reaching. Um, this is awesome. And I just want to thank USC for putting this amazing um, platform together so that we can talk. We can have a platform. We can be encouraged. You can walk away with some gifts, some tools. Okay. So before we get started, I just want to talk about some of the rules I normally have. You'll be muted during this entire duration. Um, but feel free. There's going to be a time in the chat box where you guys can talk. That's always active. Oklahoma. Okay, I see that, by the way. I'm going to do my best to answer as many questions as I can towards the end. As you guys know, as adults, here we are. We're going to be respectful. Feel free to share your thoughts. This is a safe space, right? So this is important that you know that. There's no judgment in here. We're going to be taking deep dive into a lot of the different mindset topics. But before we do that, as well, let me tell you guys a little bit about who I am, right? I am a board certified radiation therapist. I'm a cancer coach, and I am a author of a book, Five Stages of Winning with a Cancer Diagnosis. Um, I've been in this industry now, the cancer industry, for over 2 decades. I ended up here by accident. I thought I was going to be an architect. Took all the classes to be an architect, being an engineer. I was ready to go. For those that live in California, we have something called ROP. I'm not sure if that even exists anymore today, but ROP was something where you can take these adult classes. So I took these architectural AutoCAD classes, and I knew for sure that's what I was going to do. By accident, um, that didn't happen. I ended up working as a transporter in radiology, ended up taking a patient to radiation oncology and was like, what is this? And I asked the tech, like, what is this all about? And she told me, we see our patients here anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. And I thought, wow, that's interesting because in x-ray, we only see the person one time, right? It's like example I always give is you fell out of the tree. Did you break your arm? Yes or no? We take the x-ray and I may not see you ever again. But with radiation oncology, radiation therapy, you see the patient every day, 5 days a week. So I love that part because it's a relationship that you build and you get to know the person, you know about their families, what's going on, what they like, what they dislike. And so I knew for sure I was going to get into that. They tried to discourage me at that time to say, hey, it's overwhelming, it's sad, that's not something you want to do. But at that time, I was like 19, and you can't tell a teenager what to do. So I was like, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to do it anyway, right? So that's how I ended up in the field of radiation therapy. But I thought, you know what, before I jump into this, I better get my x-ray license first, become an x-ray tech, because what if they cure cancer and then I'm going to be out of a profession? So I did that first, and then I went back to school at Loma Linda University and then um, got my certification in radiation therapy. So that's a little bit about who I am. I started my podcast in the pandemic in April of 2020. And and been going ever since. We had some phenomenal guests on our show. We had the wife of Alex Trebek, Jean Trebek on our show. We had Samantha Harris with Dancing with the Stars on our show, things like that. So we've had some amazing guests. I've been able to interview a lot of amazing people. So it's an honor to be here in front of you today, and I'm excited for that. I'm going to one before I continue going because I want to make sure I give Audrey.
I'm here, finally.
I want to give you some rights in here so you can do that. There you are. So Audrey, so sorry. And look, we made it happen. Didn't
I'm
matter.
sorry. I don't know what happened.
No
Thank you.
worries. No
Yeah.
worries.
Just real quick, just want to say thank you everybody for your patience today. Kenny's wonderful. We got the chance to meet sometime last year at one of our events, and I'm really excited to make this happen. And I'll just give him the rights to take this away. So go ahead, Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So we've done some amazing things, and I've created a program for patients that may be going through it. My focus is always the cancer patients. It's always their loved ones, because the loved ones feel it too. Sometimes we are the focus on the person who's being treated, and rightfully so. But what we don't realize sometimes is that our spouse or our loved ones, they're feeling it just the same. And so we created programs for them. Um, and so that created books for them. So my main goal for this talk tonight is to offer relief from anxiety and fear, right? So that's my main thing here. And so we're going to be talking about the 3 secrets that can help you and your loved ones overcome the stress cancer has brought about. If you stick by these secrets and you think that I'm about to give to you, then I can guarantee you that they will help you a lot on your journey. Okay. So, for whom are these secrets? These are for you. If you are someone who has been diagnosed with cancer or has a loved one that's been diagnosed and is seeking support and guidance in navigating through these challenges, it has been, this is for you if you've been experiencing anxiety or fear due to a cancer diagnosis and you want to change all of that. Okay. I always say now, this is not for you. If you're not for someone who's open minded to change and mindset, right? Or your emotional well being, be able to cope, this is not for you. This is not for you if you're not interested in actively working towards building, right? A more positive outlook, right? And managing how we manage this. It's extremely important, right? It's also not for you if you're not motivated to take control of your cancer experience, because a lot of times the work falls on us, right? So we need to take the steps to create a positive change in our life. So with that, let's get started. As we say, secret number one: limiting beliefs are your true enemies, right? But there's a way to conquer them. Okay. When you think about limiting beliefs, so I'll tell you, you may not know in the industry, one of the cancers that that's in brain is called glioblastoma. Glioblastoma, when you hear that, it has a negative ring to it for those that are professionally in the industry because the prognosis is not that good. So we had one patient come in. She was diagnosed with glioblastoma, and she came in a wheelchair. Doctor gave her diagnosis, what she can expect. Now, for her, if she accepted that limiting belief or what the physician said, then it would have been difficult for her to move forward. But she showed up every single day. She came in and she was in a wheelchair, and we kept giving her treatments. And then that wheelchair turned into a walker. She kept coming in for treatments. And that walker turned into a cane. And she continued coming in for treatments. And so you're thinking about, okay, well, what ended up happening? Well, let me tell you, this patient ended up not only finishing her treatments, but several years later, she was able to have kids. She brought she brought about a beautiful daughter. And then the last time I spoke to her husband, she was thriving and doing well. So while we're on the topic of limiting beliefs, you think about this. Let's talk about the number one limiting belief that people deal with, right, when it comes to cancer. And one of the things is that cancer is a death sentence, right? Now, let me tell you, if you are someone here, I'm gonna check her. This is our chat box time, right? If you're someone who has at some point in your life thought about that statement once, that hey, I got cancer. This may be the end. I want you to type a one in the chat box. If you at one point ever thought about cancer being like a death sentence or a bad thing, go ahead and type one in the chat box. I want to see that. Look at that. Okay. Got Karen, Tanya. Yes. Jamie. Yes. Francis. Yes. We understand that, right? For sure. See, it's interesting. It's interesting about cancer is that when you think about hypertension, let's talk about this. When you think about hypertension or cardiovascular disease, do you automatically think the person who has it is going to die? No, we don't, right? We don't think that. And yet, according to the World Health Organization, heart disease is actually one of the deadliest illnesses in the world. Diabetes and hypertension are also two of the most major risk factors for acquiring that disease. And yet, cancer, for some reason, right, gets perceived by everyone that it's a death sentence. It doesn't add up, right? Now, there are a lot of other limiting beliefs out there, right? Oh, there's no treatment for cancer, or there's no cure, right? There's no type of treatments. Cancer is contagious. I had one patient just ask me the other day, I'm getting radiation now with these treatments. Can I be around my family, or am I radioactive? It's because you just don't know. You hear all of these things about treatment or cancer or somewhere, and a lot of them are just not true. So the question then is, Kenny, how can I destroy these limiting beliefs that some to come about? How can I get through some of these limiting beliefs that puzzle me? Well, one, I would say this. I'm going to write this down. Challenge your limiting beliefs with evidence. Okay? Often limiting beliefs are based on assumptions, it's based on fear. They're not grounded in reality a lot of times. So to combat these beliefs, try to find evidence that contradicts them. And this is what I mean. For example, if you've been diagnosed with a cancer, right? That specific cancer, then what I would say is look for people who have gone on to live successful lives with that diagnosis. Because we find out, oh, this is it. But if you believe that your cancer diagnosis means that you can no longer enjoy life, then you look for the evidence of the people who have been cancer survivors of that disease and gone on to live amazing lives. See, by challenging your limiting beliefs, right, with evidence, then you can start to see them for what they really are. They're, they're fears, unfounded fears. And sometimes those unfounded fears can hold you back. Okay. Number two, I always say practice mindfulness and visualization, right? Meditation and visualization are powerful tools for changing your mindset. And that's what this is about. It's about your mindset today, right? Changing your mindset, overcoming to help overcome limiting beliefs. See, by practicing mindfulness, then you can learn how to observe your thoughts and feelings. And I say, do this without judgment, right? Do this without judgment, which can help you to recognize your limiting beliefs and be able to cut those things out. Visualization is a technique in which You can imagine yourself succeeding, achieving your goals. Now, this can help you to shift your mindset away from the negative and limiting beliefs and towards a more positive, empowering thoughts, right? So by practicing mindfulness and visualization, right, regularly, then what you are going to be doing, you can start to reprogram your subconscious, right? And breaking free from limiting beliefs. See, these are the things that we can do. Another thing, number three, is seek support from others. This is going to help knock down some of those limiting beliefs. It can be difficult to overcome limiting beliefs on your own. And a lot of times it's difficult to ask for help. But let me tell you, when you're able to talk to someone, seek support from others who understand what you're going through, then it can make a big change. This may mean joining a group. This may mean coming to talks like this, right? Reaching out to friends or family who can offer me some emotional support, right? So by surrounding yourself with positive people, supportive people, then you can start breaking free from limiting beliefs and feel more empowered to face these challenges, right? Now, keep in mind that these things take time. This is not something that, oh my goodness, this is automatically, I'm going to start just conquering my limited beliefs. It takes time. It may not work for you right away, but the most important thing is that you show up for yourself every single day. I'm going to repeat that. It's important that you show up for yourself every single day. I want you guys to type in the comments, show up. If you want to show up for show up for yourself, type in the comments, show up. Who's going to show up for yourself every single day? Type show up. Who's showing up? There you go. Francis is showing up. Okay. Stacy's showing up. Let's go. Let's go. Vira's showing up. Janelle's showing up. Jeanette's showing up. Karina's showing up. That's what I'm talking about. You need to show up for yourself every single day, no matter what, good or bad. I tell my patients, man, Kenny, this seems like a long time. I says, yeah, the treatments may seem long because you're coming every single day, but that's it. You're coming every single day. You got to show up for yourself. Okay. Always remember that your biggest threat to success are the ones inside your own mind. But with the right tools, you can defeat them and rise to the top. Okay. Now, sometimes you really can't see the reality. You don't know how to visualize your goals. You have to, that's what I say, fake it till you make it, right? And fake it until you start to do it. How many heard of that? Fake it till you make it, right? We heard of that. Fake it till you make it. Now, let me tell you this. I had a patient that came in through the ER, and the patient couldn't walk. And you can imagine, you're out and about, right? Last Saturday, you're out and about, you're walking around, you're doing whatever you're doing. It was beautiful weather out. And then today, you just stopped walking. So this patient came into the ER, couldn't walk, didn't know what was going on. They did some tests to come to find out there was a tumor pressing against their spine. Right. So they came in and had no idea what was going to take, didn't know what to expect. But you showed up. The patient showed up. And eventually he was getting the treatments. And then eventually that patient came in a wheelchair. And he kept coming in for treatments. And then we kept shrinking that tumor. And then eventually that person began to walk again. Right. So you may not have believed that this was going to happen, especially when you lose your mobility. But that person showed up for themselves. And even though they may have not believed it was going to be a good outcome, it ended up being a successful. Now I know that a cancer diagnosis can be overwhelming. It can be scary. I've seen it for the last 2 decades, right? I've seen the patients going through this. it's easy to feel like everything is out of control. Okay. But here's the thing, you do have control over one very important thing, and that's your mindset. See, the fake it till you make it approach is a mental conditioning technique that can help you train your mind, right? Essentially, it's the idea that if you act as though you already have a positive mindset, then eventually your thoughts and your emotions will follow suit, right? You heard the term like look good, feel good, right? There's something about putting fresh clothes and feeling good that makes a big difference. And it's the same thing, right? To fake it till you make it. It may sound counterintuitive, though, right? What I'm saying, but the approach can be effective. In fact, it's related to a phenomenon called the placebo effect. How many of you guys heard the placebo effect? See, the placebo effect is when a person experiences positive outcomes from a treatment, even if the treatment itself is ineffective. For example, maybe give you a sugar pill instead of the real medication. But you believe in your mind that it is the real medication. And so you may still experience some of the benefits of the medication because your mind is telling you that. The placebo effect shows just how powerful our minds can be. So if you believe that something is working, our minds can actually help make it work. You see where I'm going with this? So even if your treatment isn't even if the treatment itself doesn't have any inherent properties as the placebo effect as a sugar pill, you still have some of those inherent properties. So how can you use this fake it till you make it approach to tap into your minds? Well, you may think it's impossible, hard to apply, but reality, it's really about practicing positive self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? Right? What are the things that you are telling yourself? Instead of focusing on negative thoughts, try to try to replace them with positive ones, right? For example, if you catch yourself thinking that I can't do this, right? Try to reframe your mind to thinking I'm capable of handling this challenge. You see the difference? You see that difference in that? If you guys if you're capable, type capable in the comments. If you think you're capable of making this change, type capable in the comments. Who's capable out there? I need to know who's capable. Is anybody? That's what I'm talking about. Francis is capable. Nancy's capable. Jeanette's capable. Elva's capable. Jamil's capable. Tanya's capable. Stacy, this is what I'm talking about. You got to start it. We got to start. It all starts with us. See, you hear me on my podcast sometimes when I interview. You didn't ask to be here, right? No one asked to be diagnosed with cancer and be dealing with life. I tell people it's like being catapulted in the front of the line, the VIP line of dealing with life. Like I didn't ask for VIP. You know what I mean? I didn't want to deal with this, but you're fronted. You're confronted with that, right? So here we are. Sometimes we got to take charge. Sometimes we don't have the strength to take charge, but that's what supporter having the right people around you to support you can help you. Now, of course, as I say these things, the approach doesn't mean that you should ignore the realities of your situation. No, Kenny is not telling you that. It's okay to acknowledge that things are difficult or challenging, right? But by focusing on the positive, even in the midst of difficulty, you can help shift your mindset and improve your overall well being, right? Now, there's another simple yet powerful exercise that you can do every day to help you stay positive, okay? And that is to write down daily affirmations, right? See, by writing down positive affirmations, you're programming your mind to think positively, which can help you overcome negative thoughts, can help you overcome negative feelings. Right? You're training your brain to focus on good things in life, even in the midst of challenges, right? So, what are some of the examples of daily affirmations that you can write down? Because people might say, I don't know what to do. I'll give you some examples today. Okay. I am strong and capable of overcoming this challenge. I trust my body's ability to recover. I'm grateful for the love and the support of my family and friends. You see that? See, these affirmations are simple yet powerful reminders that you are capable of overcoming difficulty and that you have the support system and the loved ones who care about you. But you don't have to limit yourself to these affirmations that I'm telling you. These are just examples. You can create your own, especially the ones that resonate with you, right? Especially on your personal journey. So here are a few tips on how to create your own daily affirmations. You start with I am or I can as an example statements to affirm your ability to, right? And your strengths. Keep them short and simple so that you can remember them and repeat them to yourselves. Use positive language and avoid that negative words like not or never, I can't. Make them specific to your situation, right? So that they can they can relate to you and have more meaning. But let's make one thing clear. Will a mindset cure your cancer? Right? Is that what Kenny's saying today? No, we're not. But can a positive mind affect how you feel and think? Absolutely. You wake up today, I'm gonna have an amazing day today. I don't care what I am. Right? That mindset, you already programming yourself to have an amazing day, no matter what comes your way. See, what we think and what we say to ourselves, it matters. Our mindset can shape our perspective, impact how we approach our journey, right? And while we may not always have control over the things that happen to us, right? We do have the power to control our response to the things that happen to us, right? So remember this, your mindset is your superpower. We think about superhero movies, like we see a lot of those nowadays, right? Marvel, you got the Superman, Wonder Woman, all these people will have superpowers. Well, you have a superpower. Your mindset, you control that. It is yours. Okay. All right. Secret number 3. It's not about motivation. It's about consistency. Let's get into that. See, I always say, been doing this for 2 decades. I got stories for you. I had one patient who came in and she was diagnosed with breast cancer and she was young. She was young. And so she would come in maybe twice, 3 times a week. And remind you, you're supposed to come Monday through Friday. And then she would miss 2 or 3 days. And then the following week, she'll come in and she'll miss another 2, 3 days. And so I called her. I was like, "What's going on with this patient? We don't know. She's just not showing up. Well, let's call her. Anybody call her?" I called her up. "Hey, how you doing? Waiting on you here." I said, "You have a daughter, right?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Listen, you're young. This treatments can help you. You want to see your daughter graduate? You want to give yourself a chance of that? You want to see your family who are around you? Show up. We're here. I'm here to support you. I'm going to make sure every single day I'm going to be here to support you." You know? And sure enough, she did. She was showing up, and I was her biggest cheerleader. It's overwhelming. Empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. It's overwhelming. How many 2 decades I've seen? I've cried with so many patients. I feel it every single time. A cancer diagnosis can be harsh and it can be disruptive, right, of your lifestyle, the things you've done. But it's important to remember that cancer cannot take away your ability to make decisions. A cancer diagnosis cannot take away your ability to make decisions about how you handle a situation. Don't let cancer control your life, right? Keep in mind, you still have the power to choose to show up every day and conquer this disease. Every day. The real challenge is not just knowing the best way to turn your situation around. Now, sometimes you don't may not know the best way, right? But rather it's staying consistent and committed to the plan for success that's been laid out and that you chose, right? Your plan success, even when you're not feeling motivated. Because motivations, it comes and goes, right? What's the point of knowing that you need to attend treatments if you won't go because you don't feel motivated? What's the use of knowing what type of food you should eat or things that you should do in order to, as they say, get in shape if you won't make any effort because you don't feel like it? See, motivation is fleeting. It can come, it can go as it pleases. Your healing, right, should not be solely based on motivation. With all the negative emotions that come up with cancer diagnosis, it can be hard to find motivation. I'm going to acknowledge that. It's a lot. If you're going through chemo, if you're going through surgery, you have to go through radiation. You got to deal with your family members. You have responsibilities prior to. It's a lot, right? Can imagine that. It can be hard to find motivation to get through up and get through the day, right? That's why having loved ones, having the caregivers to support you every step of the way is essential. That can encourage you when you're feeling down and help you when you need it the most, right? So you may be wondering, how can I stay consistent, right? Even when I'm not motivated? Well, here's a few things that you can do. Actually, there's several ways. There's several things you can do. But using a planner is one I would say to people. Write things down. Plan out your day. Maybe plan out your week, right? Track those things that you wrote down. These tools work because then you can see the progress each day or identify, oh, I didn't do this. Okay, this is a weak area. I need help in this area, right? Tracking things down, writing things down as a planner is a good way. And then you can motivate yourself to do better the next day. Okay, I didn't do that today. I didn't feel like getting out and walk today because I didn't have it. But tomorrow I'm going to do that. I skipped today, but tomorrow I'm going to make sure I get that done. You can also involve others in your planning so that they can assist you. It's like accountability buddy, right? Ensure that you're completing your tasks, right?
And just a
Always
second.
remember that. Yes, yes.
Sorry to interrupt. It looks like your screen sharing is not showing. Your slides aren't advancing.
Oh, they're not. What What do you see now?
It just shows that it says you're starting to screen share, but we don't see your slides. Maybe if you end sharing and try to reshare.
You don't see any slides right now?
No. Does anyone see slides? If you could comment.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Let's
Sorry,
try to.
you're doing so great. Sorry.
Oh, did I just lose that, or has it been that way the entire time?
I think it's been like that for a couple minutes.
Got it.
I thought
Let's
it
try
was
this.
just me, so I jumped out and jumped back in, but it was still kind of stuck.
Can you see it now?
There we go. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So sorry about that. Thank you for speaking up. Okay. So we talked about the planner. We talked about tracking, right? We're talking about writing these things down, talking about having people that can keep us accountable. Those things are important. So you don't want to make sure that you don't have your cancer diagnosis completely hinder you from living your life, right? There will always be things that you can do, right? Are you guys reading this? By being consistent, can you guys see that slide by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So by being consistent and committed to taking control of your mindset and actions, you're already on the path of success. So let me ask you a question. Are you finding this discussion so far rewarding? Please type yes in the chat box if you are finding this beneficial. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Green is yes. James, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is what it's about. Listen, I want to make sure that you guys walk away and I can provide value. And it's the reason I created this. It's the reason I created uh, the book, The 5 Stages of Winning with a Cancer Diagnosis. You know, I see a lot of people come through those doors, and a lot of times you can see how a person's going to do, if they're going to be successful or they're going to struggle through their treatments. It's written. The body language says it all. And so it's being able to have that mindset. And a lot of us may not know how to do that. A lot of my patients that I treat don't know how to do that. And so being able to give them the tools that they can change their mindset is is everything to me. I love what I do, for sure. So let's take a moment to review what we've covered so far. We started out by discussing the three main secrets, right, for surviving the cancer training, right? Secret number one is that limiting beliefs are your true enemies, but there's a way to conquer them. We talked about how our thoughts and our beliefs can hold us back, but by challenging those beliefs and replacing them with more positive, empowering beliefs, then we can start to break free from those limiting beliefs. Next, we talked about secret number two. Sometimes you need to fake it till you make it. Even if you don't feel confident or strong, you can still project those qualities, right? Even though if you don't feel it, project those qualities by acting as if you already are the person you want to be. You can start becoming the person reality. And finally, we talked about secret number three. It's not about motivation, it's about consistency. By committing to small, consistent actions every single day, and you can build momentum, right? Achieve these goals, getting through this journey, even on the days when you don't feel motivated, right? Cover some powerful strategies for overcoming these challenges, right? And there's a number of there's so many other steps and many other tools that we can go beyond these three. Increase your confidence and change your way you see things on your cancer journey. The secrets I share with you they're just building blocks, right? The next step you need to take will require more from you, but they will definitely be worth it, right? So I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for having me today. It's been an honor, and I'm here. If you guys want to ask any questions, anything I can help you with as a cancer coach, as a radiation therapist, let me know.
Thank you so much, Kenny. That was wonderful. And again, it just seems like technical difficulties today are jinxing us. I don't know what's going on.
It
Um,
happens.
but we'll be sure to share your slides with everybody if that's okay with you. We can also get them posted so everyone will have a chance to read them over. But you had incredible messaging today that I'm sure everybody appreciated. And so if you don't be shy, just unmute, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to also follow along on Kenny's channel. I'll put that plug in. I'll put his information in the chat as well as the book. Kenny, do you mind if I share the PDF of your book?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, everyone here, I mean, should get a copy of that.
Yeah, I'll stick it all in the chat room and we can also email it to anybody that wasn't able to join live.
Thank you guys for the feedback. Thank you, Mark. The name of the book is The 5 Stages of Winning with a Cancer Diagnosis. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Corinne. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate it. Thank you, Francis. Elva, thank you so much. I appreciate it. As long as I can provide value, I feel amazing. Really. Um, my whole thing is to that I see myself. I want to be the Oprah of cancer, right? I want to be the resource where people can come to and be directed, because sometimes you get diagnosed, it's overwhelming. You don't know where to go to. And there's so many different organizations, but there's not a person who you can go to. And so I want to make sure that I'm that person, or that I'm that person you can come to. I can give you the resources. We have programs, we have coaching, things like that. Third journey with cancer. Okay, Jeanette, I see you. Well, how are you doing, Jeanette? I see you. This is your third journey with it. Are you open to talk about it? Okay, no worries. Morel, I see that you say, is there too much confidence? That's a good question. Is it too much? I mean, I'm not saying be cocky, be an arrogant person, right? But that's a good question. I mean, this is not something that you just come in and just over overconfidence. But I want to say is, don't come in defeated, right? I mean, there's options out here. Sometimes we don't know those options. So I always say, make sure you talk to your medical team, right? The people who you surround yourself with, that are there for you, right? I don't know about this. I don't know if you guys know Ananda Lewis. I never judge. My podcast is a safe place. People come in, they do traditional medicine or they do holistic medicine. I don't I'm not going to um I'm not going to have an opinion either which way. I open my platform that you can tell your story, and that it can empower others. But you know, um people who feel that they can cure themselves, that was the question in the chat. Some people think that they can heal themselves by only the power of the mind. No. uh, Having a powerful mind is not going to heal you. I've been in here 2 decades. I'll be doing a disservice to you to tell you, just have a positive mind. That's enough. No, absolutely not. You need to seek medical attention, whether that be however you do it. Some people go holistic, some people go traditional. I'm not here to tell you which way to go on the way, but what I am here to tell you is that you want to seek medical attention if you get a diagnosis, and find out what your options are, right? Yeah, I know, Francis. It sure is overwhelming. I'm just reading the comments here, and you guys feel free to unmute if you like. I think you guys can unmute yourselves. Staying positive is important. The things we say to ourselves are important, right? And that applies to whether you have cancer or not, right? The things I say to myself, the things that we say to ourselves as people, affect us. Yeah. So yeah, it is difficult. Anything worth fighting for is not going to be easy, right? I always use. Let's take for example, someone who wants to lose weight. you can take the magic pill as they think, right? How about I take the no, the real work is really the dieting. Who's controlling that? It's you. It's really being able to get the show up every day for exercising, making sure you eat the right foods every single day. It's consistency. It's not that's not easy, but the lasting results and the end results, that's what's important. Yeah. So I'm just answering some of the comments in the chat here. Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't even know. See, I jumped the gun. What about diet? Diet's extremely important. I think for several reasons. We talked about hypertension, diabetes, all these different things, right? A lot of times those things can be controlled by the things that we're putting in our mouth. So what are we putting in our mouth? That it's important. Um, Putting in processed foods and things like that will have a negative effect on us. Overall, it's been shown obesity and what that has makes you susceptible to different types of diseases. That's a known fact. So dieting, um, it, or diet, a proper diet. You don't necessarily need to diet for losing weight. It's diet for just being able to have good, clean nourishment is extremely important, especially in healing. I have a program. I have a program that we created for cancer patients called "I Have Cancer. Am I Going to Die?" That's the name of my program. And one of the chapters in that segments in that is about the foods that we put in our body. Protein is important, especially when it comes to recovery. So, yeah, I wanted to just answer that question. Always got to have faith, right? Seek knowledge. Always be open minded to where God leads you. Faith is extremely important. I believe. I believe. I'm a believer. So that's important. Okay, we got a nurse in the house. Nice. I can't pronounce the name. Is Annie Wigan? I can't uh, say that you're right because you need to. Okay, 12 and a half years. TB. Okay,
Honey,
continue fighting.
it's Ann Wigan.
Ann Wigan. Okay, how you doing, Ann?
I've been better. I'm on my, I think, sixth or seventh round of different pills. Um, my PET scans are kind of iffy, but I'm trying to stay positive. But there's always a bit of your mortality coming into mind, especially the older you get and the longer that you have the diagnosis.
Yes. When it's like I said, the things that we can't control, right? We need to focus on those things. I always say, our if you listen to any of the things in my podcast, I ask people what was life like before? What were they doing? And I asked that question for a reason, because it gives the listeners a perspective. Because a lot of us we live our life prior to having a diagnosis. We were doing this and we're doing that, or we're acquiring different things, and right, and then when a diagnosis comes, what I've what I've what I've learned through my listeners is that what's most important are the values that you've learned as growing up. And so we fall back on the values that we've learned as kids from our parents, or the things that we grew up with. And then we find out that those values is what brings joy. So sometimes it's about maybe we may have been out about and just doing everything, acquiring things, but then you find out, but what's most important is really family, as an example, and just being around and being able to have people around and talk and just seeing everyone happy and socializing and in a good mood. That, right, our values. So as you go through something like these PET scans and you're dealing with things like that, be mindful of the things you say to yourself. And right, I would say, if you don't have words of affirmations, write them down. And then the things that are important to you, make sure you practice those things. Anything else? I'm all ears here. I'm all ears. It's a beautiful Saturday. I mean, I went out to, I'm like, this it's Saturday. We're in Southern California. It's beautiful. And we need to be grateful for this. And I'm gonna tell you why. I have people in a different country right now, and their house is completely flooded. The weather there, they're in a typhoon, completely flooded. They're going by, picking people up with boats, right? Life, we need to be grateful sometimes for the things we do have. Sometimes it's so easy, especially in Southern California. We have so many distractions that it can take us away from what's important and being grateful. Just waking up and being able to see a beautiful day. Today I woke up and I have 19 different people in this room that I got to meet. That's a blessing for me from all around the world. Tampa, New York, Wisconsin, Canada. That was my blessing today. I woke up and I met 19 different people today. Find ways to be, find ways that you can be grateful. I'm reading the comments. So I'm talking about here. Sometimes you don't know how to find a team. Let me tell you, um, I was an only child for 16 years, right? So what does that mean? I'm set. Even though my little sister came later, I've been set, right, of doing things on my own because I was the only child. So asking for help is so difficult. That's where I'm going with this. Asking for help is difficult for me. And so imagine getting diagnosed. I can imagine being diagnosed with cancer. And if you're a private person, you're not a person who asks for help. Oh my goodness, that's big. But let me tell you, sometimes just opening up your mouth, you'll find some amazing human beings out here. And sometimes we can lose hope in humans, right? Because we've gone through maybe some bad times in life, but we can open up and speak. You'll find there's people out here that really can help you. There's people out here that really want to see you do good with no motive. They don't have any motive but wanting to see that you do good. Right? So I read the comment and said, I don't have anyone but except God. You know, watch how God blesses you. You open up. You got to give. I told my father this. I said, Father, I told my pops, I call him Pops, by the way. I said, Pops, you got to give God something to bless. So you can't ask for a blessing, but then you don't do anything. You gotta give him something. So what does that mean? That means that you have to take a step. You have to take a step so that he can bless the step. If you're asking for help and you don't move and you're in the same place, you can't bless that. So the same thing, if you gotta sometimes just open up. You've been asking God for help and then you ask, open up, right? And you can see sometimes the people that come to your aid. And now you guys have my contact information, right? Audrey can give you that, and you can always reach out to my team. This is what we do, right? We're always posting things that can benefit, walk you through some. We try to find topics and different things that we can walk you through them, right? We have programs that we have that can get you through. So, in my book, let me know. I would really love the feedback. I'm always open, right? Never too confident to give feedback and be humbled enough to make adjustments. So, that's right. Being grateful, waking up every day. That's right. Okay, we got another only child in here, Francis. Okay. Yes, yes. Sloan Kettering. Yes. Well, Audrey, I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
so much for
Can,
allowing.
can I say something?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
Francis. Anyway, I didn't have help. Okay, listen to this. I had people that volunteered, but circumstances happened. So I did have somebody come with me for the first chemo. which was like 8 hours. It was like a work day. But then she had a family member that was sick. So when I went to the second one, I heard God tell me, I want you to do this by yourself. And that's why I didn't have anybody. It
Yeah.
was me being tested in my faith. And I say, I trust you. So that is what it was. So it wasn't like I didn't have anybody. I could have got
Gotcha.
people. But
Yeah.
guess what? I had a good time by myself.
Yeah.
I made the nurses smile. I made the patients smile. And I still go there because I have still go for treatments. And I still put a smile on their face. So it was no problem for me. I had to walk in my faith and in my confidence and remain positive at all times. And I got that from my mother because she had cancer.
Mhm.
And I saw what she went through. So I just had to think about her. And all I kept hearing was the doctor saying, that's her journey. That's not yours. And my son saying, that's her journey. That's not yours. And I mean, I heard it 3 times. So I went through my journey. And I mean, I'm in treatment because I have hormone receptors, so I just take that. But otherwise, I still go to Memorial Sloan Kettering and I make everybody laugh and smile. So
Yes.
that's all I wanted to say because I don't want you to think I didn't have people.
Yeah.
But I did have what mattered most was prayers.
Yeah.
They weren't there, but they were heartfelt prayers. And when I finished it, I remember my doctor. She was like, you did so well. Only problem I had a problem was with that radiology people. Yeah, and it wasn't that. I mean, it was just that it was on the left side, so where the heart is. I had to hold my breath, and the machine broke down one day while I'm there. So that wasn't fun. But otherwise, I mean, I have no complaints. I'm glad I went to MSK and I just had no complaints about, except with one nurse who jabbed me in my port. That's neither here nor there, but all around the whole staff, they treated me with the best care.
Yes.
So that's all I wanted to say. And it's nice to meet you, and we'll see each other again.
Yes. Well, thank you,
Uh-huh.
Francis. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being proactive. Thank you
I told you
for
I would come.
being a participant. Thank you for sharing. And most important, and I don't know if you guys heard what she said. She said she was there by herself, and we heard that. But what you did, Francis, was that you showed up and you gave. See, one of the biggest antidotes to conquering our our own depression or our own self-doubt is to be a giver. See, when you're giving, you're no longer focusing on yourself. You're focusing on the other person. And so what you said when you went in there, you start talking to people and asking how they were doing. You took the focus off of you and you gave to them. In a time where you're receiving treatments, 8 hours you talked about. So what an amazing individual, right? And so you don't understand the topic where it says there's more happiness in giving than in receiving. If you've ever been down and you haven't tried it, I strongly recommend trying. If you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, and you're in this funk, go out and focus on someone. Focus on giving to someone else, and you'll see how that shift in you comes about. So I wanted to acknowledge that, Francisco. I heard you say that, and what an amazing individual you are, and all of you. Sometimes we're stuck. Sometimes we get stuck in life, and when we just need, sometimes just we may not need anything but an ear. Sometimes we just need to vent, and when we vent, sometimes we hear ourselves, right? But yeah, thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you,
to the
Kenny.
radiology department.
Yeah. So
Oh,
radiation oncology, that's us, right? And so um, for those that have breast cancer on your left side, there's a new technique, was fairly new, technique that they do is called breath hold, deep, inspiration breath hold. So when you take a deep breath, what that does is pushes your heart out of the way so that when you're getting treated, you're having less side effects or less radiation to the heart. So that's what that's about. But yes, um, I'm glad that you shared that with us.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing. But I got my first tattoos. That was what was fun. Because they gave you tattoos. Give tattoos, right?
Yeah,
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 I was, wow, I got my first tattoos.
yeah.
Yeah, my son was like, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I do. Three little dots, right where the beam would go. Yeah. So, no, I asked a lot of questions. That's what it was.
It's
Before
important.
I did anything, I asked questions because I was by myself, but I needed to know what each thing was for. Why are you doing this? And what I didn't, I was told not to ask side effects because then, your mind, side effects, and then your mind takes over and you think you're going to get these side effects. So I never asked about side effects anymore until I saw my hair coming out from the medicine that I was taking. That was it. But
Yeah,
otherwise, I just asked questions, and I must say they were explained to me in detail exactly
yeah.
what was for, especially
Nice,
the radiology. So I was
nice.
very happy with them, except for Larry that made me hold my breath. That was yeah.
Kenny,
Thank you.
I don't mean to take up any more of your time, but yeah,
No, you're
I
okay.
told you I had fun.
Kenny,
Yes, sir.
can I chime in with something?
Yeah, Mark, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Uh, for those of you who don't know, my name is Mark Kageyama, and I was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate, bone, and lung cancer back in 2021. And I was told I had weeks to live. Obviously, I'm still here today, doing well. I have a YouTube and Rumble channel, and I had the true honor and blessing to meet Kenny for the first time last weekend. And we hit it off and just had the best time. And so we did an interview, and I'm going to be posting it on my channel this Monday. And I just came up with the title for it. So I just wanted to share this with you. And the title is How a Guy Without Cancer is Your Cancer Guy. And you solidified the title as far as I'm concerned today. I was just going to run in and out today just to show support, but I stayed for the whole thing because I learned what I learned most is the fact, and it's been going through my mind the whole time, is how can this guy who's never had cancer like I have be able to effectively tell people and share with people and teach people about a cancer journey? And I'm just absolutely sold without a doubt. And you're the first person that I've met after interviewing hundreds of people, talking to thousands of people who've had cancer, and then also relating it to people who have not have had cancer, because the 99.999% of the people who have not had cancer don't understand what this is all about. This guy, he gets it because he's been able to put himself in the shoes of his patients, which I wasn't sure if that was possible. But after listening today and after talking to him and interviewing him last week, this dude is the real deal. I mean, without question. I mean, he's spot on with everything he said. I mean, and I just commend you, and it's been an honor to listen to you and a blessing. And I mean, because one of the things that I did in my cancer journey was I went about to treat my whole being, not just the cancer itself with treatments. And Kenny touched on all of this. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So thank you for sharing with us, Kenny. And I am a fan. And also too, you are a fantastic speaker. Absolutely fantastic. And you know, I admire people who could speak because uh, you know, that's how I learn. And that's how, you know, always want to learn to be more effective to help more people. And you taught me a lot today about that. And I wasn't listening the same way that many of the other people were. I was listening for other things, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done.
That's priceless, man. That touched me. I appreciate that. And I love what I do. I love what I do. It's about putting yourself in other people's shoes. And everyone has a unique journey. And I've been blessed. God has put me in a position to be in the trenches of thousands of people with who have been diagnosed. And I get to see people in their most vulnerable position. And what am I going to do with that? Man, I never take advantage of someone who's in a vulnerable position. You learn to extend that grace. It's a dark place, and sometimes people just need guidance to get to the light. You know, so thank you so much. I can't even, man, I didn't even expect that from you. So that touched me. I'm a giver. So to receive, that's a little difficult. So I have to tell you, thank you, Mark. Man, that was heartfelt. You touched me. You touched me.
You know, I was going to text you that what I just told you, but I was like, man, I just got to tell him. So that's what I want. I appreciate this, you know, this time, and it's an honor.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And that's what we do. That's what this is all about. And I always end my comments is you're not alone in this. We're in this together. And it's true. You know, I have a lot of ideas on what I want to do with my platform. And it's all about being a giver, being a resource, and allow people to know that you're going to be supported. And there's a face, there's a person you could go to, you know. So yeah, thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, everyone. I think that's a really great note to wrap things up here. Thank you for such a wholesome session. This has been really enlightening, and for people who have been following us for some time, the Bench with Bedside Initiative, we're actually a research project, and so this is a very different way of reaching patients in the community, with our participants as well included as far as research goes. But really, it was meant to be a transparent space that would connect science and research with the community, as many researchers and just clinical trials and things you typically will contribute and you kind of lose track. So Dr. Salia Bodr, she's a faculty member at University of Southern California in the Department of Cancer Biology. And she started this as a means to get closer to patients and to give her a purpose in her research as well. And so if you look back at some of our other videos, she actually presented last month in June, but she really dived deeply into what her main goal and her purpose was in starting all of this. And Kenny, it's been wonderful having you here to present to this community as well, our survivors, our patients, our participants, and people who are going through treatment. It's been wonderful listening to you talk, and we will certainly get this posted, and we'll definitely be in touch. So thank you so much, Kenny. Thank you everybody for being here today. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. I don't know why it's still happening. We started this in 2020, using Zoom and everything, and we still have trouble with it. So we'll get it all squared away, but hopefully this never happens again. But again, we got it recorded, we got it solved. So Kenny, thanks for your flexibility. Thank you, Janelle, for helping with everything. And thank you all. So we put all of our information in the chat. We'll also get everything posted on our website. We'll send out a message to everyone that registered today if they weren't able to join live. But thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon, Kenny.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Kenny. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.